Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. My name is Sohela. I am from WeddingWire India, part of the brand marketing team. Today, we'll be discussing all about reviews. So we all know collecting reviews is one of the most important things you can do to help your business stand out. Reviews provide information about your business personality, quality of work, and professionalism that couples may not see through your marketing material. Today, we're going to be discussing on how you can collect reviews and make them work harder for you during the middle of COVID-19. Now, we have someone today who has an experience of 15 years in driving revenue for businesses across categories like banking, retail, and tech. Bharat Khanna is here to enlighten us today with the power of reviews. He currently spearheads the sales and training teams at WeddingWire India. Welcome, Bharat.
Hi, Zoila. How are you? Thank you so much. Can you guys hear me?
No, I can't hear you.
We can.
Okay. Okay. Zoila, can you hear me? Zoila, can you hear me? Okay, while she's figuring out the sound, I guess everyone else can hear me, right? Can someone confirm, please? Roshni, would you confirm? Yes. Okay. So why don't we start with one of the main points that we wanted to discuss about reviews. And I think we will start with the importance of reviews. I think all of us agree that the pandemic current situation that we have has shifted all major transactions online, from groceries to buying furniture to booking hotels, and also booking wedding venues or booking vendors for your big day, the wedding day. And because there is so much demand online, it is very, very critical for every business to go ahead and be able to portray a credible image in front of every consumer. I generally use a lot of stories in the trainings that I hold, and I would start this with a training with a little story as well, which generally helps the attendees of my training sort of fix it in their heads. As an example, so considering I'm a consumer in today's world, what happens is when I want to book or I want to buy anything online, I generally go online, start doing my research, and if I like a product or I already know what product I'm looking at, I will start looking at pictures. I will start deciding based off of the pictures. That's the first scroll that everyone does. That's the first filter. Then you look at reading about the product, what the product is and what details have been provided by the vendor. That's something that you look at. And once I've done all of that, and I've decided that I like the product or service that I'm looking at, there's a gap between the consumer that I am right now and the person that I want to be when I buy the product, how I will buy the product or book that service or call that vendor, drop a lead. That gap usually is bridged. And I always say for consumer behavior, that bridge is on fire. The fire is fueled by my apprehensions, my previous experiences buying online, my anxiety, whether it'll be the right choice, what are the policies behind refunding. If it's a service, then once I consume the service, will I ever be able to, would I regret my decision? Things like that. The whole bridge is on fire. And the only way a business can put out that fire is generally if they drizzle it with a lot of reviews. That's what reviews are doing today. Very, very instrumental role in the buying journey of any consumer. Survey says brand credibility is majorly currently created by reviews. 90% people look for reviews for decision making. 85% consumers say we trust reviews as much as recommendations from friends and family. So yes, one of the major factors or major aspects of reviews is creating brand credibility. When I, as a consumer, see a fellow consumer has used that product, has shared their experience with the product, it's more credible, more trustworthy for me as opposed to what the brand says. Of course, the brand's going to take really nice pictures of the venue, brand's going to take really nice pictures of the services they provide, but I want to see what the end user says about it. And that's what I want to trust as a user. Secondly, when I talk about user decision making, survey says that a couple, when going through the planning phase of their wedding, generally tend to look up 7 reviews minimum on an average. So the more reviews that you have on your profile, the merrier it is for a business. It brings a lot of visibility and awareness, drives SEO. Search engine optimization says that reviews for any website is one of the strongest drivers of engine optimization, search engine optimization. So a high number of reviews indicate your business is legitimate for both users and for Google search boards, because that's how they index and rank your business. One of the ways to drive traffic to your website can also be through reviews. If you're running review surveys on your website and you share those links on your social media profile, people click on it, they bounce onto your website. So a lot of people, while asking for reviews, also generate a lot of traffic. Publicity. You can do a lot of publicity. A lot of businesses are smart. They take screenshots of the reviews that they receive and put it on their social media pages. What that does is, one, of course, the followers see a lot of credibility. And two, what happens is it's another content that can be shared on social media. Second last thing that a review does, and one of the most important things, is product and process improvement. Review is nothing but feedback from your consumers. And every business grows with feedback. Every team grows with feedback. I, as a business, if I don't know what my consumers are thinking about me or my service or my product, I would never be able to grow. And there should be a clean strategy about it. Collect your reviews, bucket them. So it's, if you're a wedding venue, you should bucket into places like food reviews, ambience reviews, decoration reviews, service reviews. Bucket them into those categories, analyze them, understand what your consumers are saying. And once you've analyzed, you come down with some sort of feedback that is granulated to that level that you can start improving processes. And finally, on the flip side, if you go out asking for reviews, one of the most amazing thing happens. Your users feel that you care about them. You care about what they feel. You care about their opinion. And that's what really matters. You make them feel that they are kings and queens. And you're asking them, what can I do to do better at what I do? And that works like magic. So your old customers feel special when you ask them what they think about your product, and your future customers get to read about that and they say, wow, that's a credible brand. I'm going to go with that. They pick you up, drop you a lead, boom, you got business. So that's how important the reviews are today. So like,
absolutely. So I think very well put in the entire way that reviews definitely matter. Now, when we talk about the criticality of reviews being present on neutral platforms, what is your take on it?
I think I would give a very good example. And I think every person who talks about reviews or runs a business or into marketing of their business, they would always know about TripAdvisor. One of the most amazing platform. A very genius guy came up with that theory and said, when you're putting reviews on your own platform, on your own website, people don't trust it. I go to Bharat.com and say, hey, hire me, I'm a great trainer. Hey, hire me, I'm a great sales leader. I will drive your revenue. And I have a lot of testimonies and reviews lying around there. And they could be paid, they could be my cousins, they could be anyone, they could be my friends, they could be me with multiple IP addresses and emails. What happens when you get something on a neutral platform? When someone goes to a platform like TripAdvisor and writes about Bharat.com, the reliability goes exponentially high. That's when you start saying, yes, I believe it as a consumer. I'll give you another example. If you start searching for restaurants near me on Google, you come across a lot of restaurant websites and Zomato website. So what happens is, you might go to the restaurant's website and start looking at it. It could have great images, great content, beautifully designed menu. They're doing amazingly well. And they've got like, let's say 50 reviews, 100 reviews, let's say 350 reviews. What they are doing there is amazing and you like it. But as a consumer, you think, ye to ye khud bhi dal sakte hain. maybe it's their employees, maybe it's their friends, family, anyone. You would, as a consumer, I do it all the time. My family does it, my friends do it. I've seen everyone do it. I'm sure everyone on this group does it. So you generally go to Zomato and look at the restaurant again and say what people are saying on Zomato about that restaurant. And even if we don't have 350 reviews, if I have 50 reviews on Zomato, I still trust that more than the other 350. That's what having reviews on neutral platform does for you. So if you're looking at reviews for a small thing like ordering food for you, you have to understand couples are doing that to review vendors when booking for marriages also. That's how powerful reviews are. From a small decision like one meal for me just for lunch versus my best and special day in my life. That's how critical reviews are. So if you have reviews on platforms like WeddingWire, and most of these sessions that we do are mostly about educating our vendor partners. It's not about blowing the trumpet for WeddingWire. So I say, if you have reviews on WeddingWire, WeddingZ, WeddingMe, any platform that you go to, it is good for your business. Get them going. It's good to have it on your website. It's something like, I also do a lot of sales. So it's something like a salesman having a brag book. I think somewhere in the 1960s, someone invented this. A salesman said that, okay, when I go meet my leads and I tell them my product's great, they don't trust me on face value. So that person started maintaining a file, like a folder with a lot of letters on company letterhead from previous clients who had bought their product and were enjoying the services and were very happy with it. And he used to call it his brag book. And he started going around his meetings and meeting leads and prospects with that book. And that worked like magic. So today we call them reviews, but testimonies, reviews, brag book, whatever you call it, it really matters what your consumers, what others are thinking about your product or your service, more than what you say, more than what your marketing say, no matter how many millions of dollars you spend on your marketing. But if I don't see what consumers are saying about your fancy website, I don't think I'm getting interested.
Great. So I believe we definitely understand the importance of reviews now and how they matter for a business. But I'm sure a lot of vendor partners would now be concerned that how do I get reviews from my customers? What is that right way to go about it?
I think asking is the key. If you're not asking, you lose the first step. You lose half the battle. First thing is going out confidently asking. What happens if 50% of your rating is 3 or 2 or 1? But that's a start. You can build on it. First of all, it's free feedback. You work on it, improve your product, get more 5s on the board. And it's all a game of numbers, right? So if you increase the number of good reviews, you will increase your average. So first thing first, most businesses I've observed, the ones that I consult with, friends that I speak with, they say, I just don't have the courage, or I don't want to ask. If I ask, if I get bad reviews, it's just going to spoil my image. 0 is still better than -5. And I say, if you don't ask, you can never start. So first of all, you want to track your consumer. Small process, track. Try and find out where is everyone. Who is doing what? Where is your consumer? Who's used your service? Go through the database. You have their phone numbers, your email addresses are there. Find that. Sit down with your team, do a brainstorming session. This is where you assess the data, filter it out, ask your employees, hey, you dealt with this client. How was their experience? Jog through your memory, think about it. I give you a week. This is your list. Let me know who you think is a 5, who you think is a 3 on review rating. Get back to me in a week. Get back to me in 2 weeks. That's how you want to do it strategically. Now you start contacting them. Use every platform. Email. Bulk emails, you use a platform like MailChimp. Social platform everywhere. Hey, write us a review. Let us know what you think about our business. Website. Put it on your website. Bam, out there. Someone gets onto your website, there should be a pop-up. Write us a review. Call them. Right now, teams are not busy. There's not a lot of business. You have employees sitting, but we are still paying them. We're kind, right? Give them some extra work. Let them start calling people. Let them have that list ready. Track, assess. Contact phase, give that sheet to 2 smart people in your team. They start calling, asking for reviews. Ask the consumer, am I allowed to post this review on our platform on your behalf? Ask that question on a recorded line. It's legal. Marketing, run marketing campaigns, do giveaways, do anything that you can. And of course, WeddingWire. You want to get onto WeddingWire, we provide you a beautiful platform where it is very, very easy to ask for reviews. Just get onto WeddingWire and start putting in the email addresses for the consumers that you want to get in touch with. We have a set template there. You want to change that template, you can. We've written something nice for you. But if you want to change it, you can, and save it as a future template and start sending those emails. When I talk about emails, it's very, very critical that you ask the right question. Make sure that you have multiple formats going out. If you're getting in touch with 100 people, make 4 formats. Do sort of an A/B testing. 4 formats, 25 consumers each. See which one gets you the maximum responses, and also see which one is getting you higher positive response and lower negative response. That's your success code. That's your template that you want to use for future. Incentivize it. If you run a marketing campaign, incentivize it. If you have a pop-up on your website, incentivize it. Write a review, we give you a $10 gift card. Write a review, we give you Amazon with gift card. Do something like that. When you talk about content on the email that goes out to your consumers, always know you can control and drive the thought and emotion. Always know that. If asked correctly, you can actually have the user feel positive about your brand when he or she writes for you. So this is something that you need to do. Track, assess, contact, and once you've done the contact, most important thing, follow up. If you said 100 emails, 2 people get back to you, don't think that's your top conversion rate. You need to follow up. Call them. Hey, we sent you an email. Don't feel shy about it. As I said, asking is the key, but not just once. You have to ask more and more number of times. And finally, more important than follow up or anything, once you receive that feedback, don't forget to thank them. If you've incentivized it, make sure they get what you promised within 72 business hours. Otherwise, they will forget about it. Even though you send it, they'll forget about it. Thank them, be nice, so that in future, if you want to get in touch with them for any favor, anything, you have that relationship.
Great. And we would, all also want to know, how does WeddingWire help in capturing reviews for vendors on their profiles?
Shoila, we have 2 processes, as I mentioned in the previous question. We have a beautiful template. You can go there. The whole function is set up electronically. We also allow you to upload bulk email addresses on our platform. If you update it in a particular Excel format, we let you do that as well. So you can send bulk emails from our platform as well. Template can be saved. It's easy to send. As I said, once you've done your A/B testing and you know which format works best for you, you save it there and you can use it on future occasions. Send reminders. One email will never work. You have to send multiple emails. It should be like a trickle marketing campaign. You send an email every week, every 4 days. Back it up with SMSs if you can. If you have the facility, send a link of the WeddingWire review collection portal on an SMS to all your consumers. That also works. So maybe you can do 1 email today, an SMS within the next 12 hours, and then you can do an email after 4 days and an SMS within the next 6 hours. You can read about it a lot online, how these campaigns work. Secondly, what you want to do is, I want the vendor partner community to understand as we have always been supportive with our vendor community. We've been standing by them at every step through the pandemic. We've been there providing leads through the platform. We've been going an extra mile. So we go an extra mile for the review process also. WeddingWire has a dedicated team which calls most of the consumers on our platform who are generating leads for our vendors and ask them whether they booked the vendor. If there's a confirmation, we ask them for a review and we get those reviews for our vendors, because of course it's all about mutual growth. Unless our vendors look good, we don't look good. And we want to make sure our vendors look good, they get the business, they grow. And once they grow, they tell us they're happy with us and maybe they write a review about us.
Yeah, it's definitely a cycle that all of us are in,
Yeah.
So, when we talk about reviews, there is also a bit of a scare around getting a negative review. And I'm sure all of, our vendor partners here are in some way or the other, are a little scared of getting one. and probably don't know that if you respond to them, they might just turn into something positive, and how it can actually help the future customers, eventually book their business. So can you throw some light on that?
So I think bad reviews in a way work better than good reviews or average reviews, because every business, every team, every human being grows with constructive feedback. Maybe you get good reviews with comments like, I was really happy with the service, the venue took care of me, we were very happy when the dinner was laid out, the decoration was nice. It's very high level commentary. You want detail? Get a person who's upset with you write about you. They will go an extra mile, write big paragraphs about you. That's the feedback that you want. I'm not saying it should be there all the time, but if you're not getting those, one, you're doing great, amazing, or you're not asking, or people don't have access to your brand, and you're losing out on a great opportunity to grow through constructive feedback. So first of all, you want to find those reviews. A lot of brands do not have the right education in the team to, first of all, how to go find these reviews and feedbacks. They could be on any platform. So social listening, monitoring is very important. You can go to social media platforms and start searching hashtags about your brand. A lot of data will come out with that. Once you have that data, that's when you want to start educating yourself about how to rid yourself of fake or unreal or vindictive reviews on various platforms. What is the process? Get in touch with the platform. If you get something bad on WeddingWire and you think that's not right, maybe it's someone writing it who's not happy with you and they've not actually used your service. There's always a process with every platform. So educate yourself, educate your team how to get rid of that. Once that is done, and you've been very vigilant about what's happening in social space, what is happening in the online space about your brand, what people are saying, you're doing a lot of social listening, and you verify that the review that you receive, the bad review, then it's very, very critical to respond on priority. I run sales also. I've been generating revenue for a lot of business. I always say, if you get a lead, get on top of it immediately. Don't wait. But I say, if you're responding to your lead within an hour, that's your business standard operating procedure. That's the TAT. I say get a response on your bad review within 15 minutes, 14, 10, cut it down as soon as possible. Why? Because a person who uses social media, and usually this happens on social media, does not directly go to social media. He or she as a consumer is really upset with your brand. They've gone through a lot of phone calls. They've gone through a lot of conversations. They've been let down by our teams. They've been told that they cannot be helped. And I think their logic in their head always stands stronger than your company policy. So it's very, very important that you respond on priority, because that person is already irritated if they've gone too far to write a review on social media or any other platform, because generally they call customer service and you can talk it out, right? Once you've done that, then read carefully. Read that review. Try to understand. Don't just breeze through it and say, oh, I know what to do this. I know my sales rep told me about it, or my customer service rep told me about this issue. No. Read carefully, digest it. Understand. When I say digest, it's not only understanding. Digesting is your own ego. Get it out of the way. It's your brand that is reading the review, not you personally. Not you who was scolded or had an argument with the consumer at your branch, at your venue, at your service, at your salon, at your studio. It's not you, it's your brand who's reading it. Get it in your head. Digest it. Analyze what went wrong. When you're doing all of this, always remember, customer is always right. And the only way you can get out of this situation, the only way you can save face for your brand, is making that customer happy. And of course you want to do that. Bad review or bad word of mouth is worth much more than any number of millions of dollars that you can spend in marketing. If someone is having a drink, standing with friends and says, hey, I don't like that XYZ company, that's it. Probably they're just standing right under a television which is running your brand's ad. It's gone. So make sure you analyze and understand what's happening, and you lead with an apology. When you open the dialogue, when you get into the conversation, lead with an apology. There's no ego here. It's all about your brand. Think business. And finally, don't be wordy. Crisp, clear, concise, to the point. The more you talk, the more they will pick out of your conversation and stretch it. You want to keep it to the point and say, yes, we apologize. No matter what happened, we feel we can make up to you, and we will. That's the conversation. Now what happens is, once you go ahead and respond, and there's a good staff response on a review, I always read those. I want to see if I, as a consumer, would have a tiff, an argument, an issue with this brand, how will they take care of me? So more than the good reviews, there could be 1,000 reviews, and out of that 990 reviews are great. They're all 4s and 5s. They're like 5 1s. I want to see how is the brand responding to that. That is more powerful than actual review itself. I want to see how will I be taken care of when things go sideways with this brand. And yes, negatives can be turned into positive. This is a myth. Everyone thinks, no, I've got a bad review, I cannot. How will it convert into a good? If you've given a solution, and if you've taken care of that consumer who's given you a 1-star and said, this brand is really bad, never buy anything. They put pictures of your product, they put pictures of your venue, they said the service really bad. Once you've given the resolution and you've got a good staff response there, ask. Never be shy to ask the consumer and say, hey, now that we resolved, would you be willing to give us a 5-star, or at least take it to a 3? Always do that. A lot of brands make this mistake. They don't ask, they're shy. And that's where the problem is. And I think these problems come, and especially handling the negative review, when you've got the wrong guy or wrong girl working in your team taking care of this. You got to have the right person who thinks about the brand, who is the business, who is thinking business in the head, not his paycheck or her paycheck. And finally, bad reviews, game of numbers. As I said, you got 1,000 reviews, 900 are 3, 4, 5s, 10 are bad. Kitna percent average negative ho jayega? Do the math. Instead of, if someone is not willing to convert your negatives to positive, and you've asked, you've done your due diligence, you've given them the solution, you've gone an extra mile, don't bother, move on, get more positive reviews. If he's having a 0.5 or 50 basis point impact on your overall average, after a while, get a lot of positive reviews. He's at 10 basis point, eventually 5, and then negligible. You're at a 4.9, even though that bad review is there. So it's a game of numbers. Get more numbers going in your favor.
Great, absolutely. I think I would definitely agree that the more the merrier, and people should not really shy away from getting a negative review. But in the current situation that we're living in, not a lot of weddings are happening. There are definitely intimate weddings which are going on in all the cities, but not as many as we would see in any other year. So how would you recommend that our vendor partners get reviews when there aren't many weddings happening?
I think, again, it's a game of mindset. You should know, you should be focused about your brand. You really should be knowing what you want to do. We've got a lot of data. Even if your business is 2 years old, you got some data, and I'm sure not everyone's given you a review. Increase the conversion of the old data. If you've sent 100 emails last month and 3 have converted, rework that data. This is the time. You've got more time on hand now. Business is less. So why don't you improve the image of your brand? A lot of times what I've observed is businesses don't explain the process in detail. They say, hey, can you write a review for me? Here's a link. And then it's a whole complex thing going on. Very, very simple process. It should be easy clicks, very straightforward questions, only maybe one text bracket, and mostly I suggest there should not be any compulsory fields. So these are some of the things that you want to focus on. First of all, the process should be easy. And secondly, once it is easy, it should also be well communicated, because we design that feedback form doesn't mean the consumer understands it as we do. Then if you don't have sufficient data and you say you've used it a lot, search the social media, go for hashtags, go for geotags. These people like to share their experiences. If they've hashtagged your brand or they geotagged your brand that I was at this hotel, I was at that venue, I was at this studio, this is the person I booked. If that is happening, that person is highly likely to go ahead and write about you, right? Get in touch with those people on Instagram, go through those hashtags. One of the things that we should know as businesses, users will not limit their opinion to this product was good or bad. They will also explain why. So when I say there should be a text box, it should come with a very compelling question. If used smartly, the why question on a review can transform your business. That's where the meat is. That's where you get insights about what your consumers are thinking. That's where you get to know what your consumer actually want versus what you're offering. So that why question, very well scripted, very well written, very compelling, transforms your business.
Sure, great. And I think lastly, I would want to definitely ask that, why should vendors be asking current couples for COVID reviews, and why are they important?
Okay, so where I started this session with you and I said, the pandemic has transformed businesses. We have gone leaps and bounds in accepting online businesses, online transactions. I don't think any business, any tech company would have thought that everything will get so accelerated within 3 months. Like, I think the biggest example in front of us is Geo. Who says economy is not working? So the kind of investment they are getting, that's because the whole scene has accelerated. If it took us 15 years to get from a Nokia 3310 to an iPhone 11, it just took us 3 months from paying your maid cash versus paying her on Paytm, like that. So things are transforming, and every business needs to know how they can get better. And this is the time. If there is a couple who's booked your service at a venue, and of course, wedding has multiple venues most of the times. And right now, if there's a 50 people limit, I want to do one function and then I want to do another where I can, friends versus family versus colleagues, I can have multiple locations. And I'm also going out eating if I have to, if I like going out. Keeping all of that in mind, it's very important for businesses to understand what is happening in the market. It is very important to get insights. It's very important to go ahead and get that knowledge of what everyone is doing. And what better way to ask a consumer? So you get to know what's working, what people are doing at their venues, what people are using PPE kits, masks, sanitizers, how are the seating arrangements, how is the photographer working? Because you will have a photographer at your venue as well, right? If you're a venue. Or how is the makeup artist working? If you have that kind of information and you want to give away a room at your venue to a makeup artist. So as a venue, you need to know what the makeup artist is doing. So it's not just about asking current couples about what you did and how you can improve, but what others are doing, what other wedding vendor categories are doing and how they are running their businesses during the pandemic. Everything needs improvement. I think no one's perfect. So if you're not asking couples right now, then it becomes very difficult for you to grow. Try to understand what is the right thing during the pandemic to do as a business. And I think this growth has to happen so quickly because of the acceleration that we don't have enough time to just stick around and say, let's see what our neighbor does, or I'll just walk into a competitions venue, or I'll just see what that photographer is doing. Or my cousin's wedding is in November, तब देख लेंगे photographer कैसे कर रहा है, मैं भी ऐसे ही कर लूँगा, या कोई, you cannot wait. If you don't have that readiness right now, then how would you go ahead and service the consumer right now during the pandemic? So it's very, very important to understand businesses are in a transformative state, and you really need to learn very, very quickly to get better at it. One of the things that I would like to add here, Soila, and I think it should benefit, if you're not getting the right kind of reviews. If you think that is not what your consumers want to give you, there is other ways also to get to know what your business can do better. Know what made your current clients buy your product or services. You get to know who's giving you a thumbs up versus a thumbs down. You can start running surveys, customer satisfaction surveys. You can do net promoter survey. What the net promoter survey generally is a single question survey, which says, on the basis of your past experience with our brand, how likely are you to recommend us to your friends and family? 0 being least likely and 10 means highly likely. So you can run those surveys. This also helps you a lot on saving marketing dollars to get more business, because these calls, when you make it to your consumers, also become great opportunity to ask for referrals. So you can ask for referrals on these calls. And finally, testimonial videos. I think this is a great tool. A lot of business use it. They go ahead and ask their clients as to, what they felt about it, and sort of do a nice shoot and make it cinematographic and, post it on their social media. That looks really nice. So you can use it also as a sales tool to, show it to your prospect clients that, see, this is what our previous consumers say. So this also is very, very powerful. These two things, surveys and testimonial videos, besides the reviews that we spoke about today.
Okay. We actually have one question coming in the chat box right now. So Anvesha is asking, how can these reviews be used for marketing the business apart from them being used as a good word of mouth?
So I think when you say marketing, I gave an example. A lot of brands, what they do is take screenshots of their reviews and post it on social media. A lot of brands also go all out when they are very confident with their services and product. They ask for reviews on social media itself. That can be great marketing, like right there. So you have to be very confident as a brand to be able to do that. But I think the first step, taking a screenshot of something nice that a vendor has said or a consumer has said about your brand, take a screenshot of it, put it on your Facebook, put it on your social media. That actually works like magic. A lot of people run marketing campaigns around asking for reviews. I don't know if that's what Anvesha is asking, but asking for reviews is a whole campaign. You can design it, you can run simultaneously with emails, social posts, website widgets, and with SMSs. So all 4 mediums, you go all out asking for reviews. And that every platform that you add to the asking for reviews increases the probability and likelihood of you getting one. So conversion rate goes up.
Great. All right. I think that was that question from the chat box. Thank you so much, Bharat, today for joining us. I would like to conclude with this, that we all know that this year has been different and we're all making some adjustments to our businesses. Hope these inputs on reviews help you drive your business better. We at WeddingWire India, part of the Not Worldwide, wishes all the best to all of our vendors for the upcoming wedding season. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Signing off from WeddingWire.